Bonjour. Now I hear you say that you two would like to move to France. But unfortunately for you, Brexit has removed your freedom of movement. It used to be easy. When we moved over, it was dead simple. And it was. We just moved over, pretty much. Then told the authorities that we were here. Yeah. We got our card for town and what have you, for our healthcare and stuff. We did what we needed to do. We had our assurance malady for the top-up for the healthcare as well. The usual stuff. I started working over here. I was allowed to, you see. Started working. Yeah. Got my Siri number and stuff. Unfortunately for you now, as a third country, since Brexit, that's no longer possible for you. So, if you have got this dream to come over to France to live, you now got to jump through a few little hoops and maybe over a few hurdles. That's not impossible. No. It's a process, you see. Yeah. So if you've got that dream, you need to be able to, go on that journey. Like I say, a process. Now, before Brexit, no problem at all. You had freedom of movement. Come over here to France. No problems whatsoever. If you didn't like France, you could then go and move to Spain, for instance. Try that. Give that a go. Well, that's changed. It's now on a case-by-case basis. Country by country. Because the United Kingdom is now a third country and it's outside of the European Union. So how do you move to France? How is that possible for you? Because it still is. And I want to try and explain it to you. The process is actually relatively simple. You need to apply for a 12-month visitor visa. But what do you need to do that? Well, first of all, you need to prove your income. Yes. Didn't need that before Brexit, you see. You need to prove your income, and you need at least 20,966 euros per annum per person. And that has to be earned outside of France. So that's your gross income. Also, it could include your pensions, it can include passive incomes, etc. I suppose pensions are passive income, really. But it's that's what you need. 20,966. That's your first step. The next one is, make sure you haven't got a flippin' criminal record. Because that will be, that'll be a block to you. That you just ain't getting in. No. In fact, when the ETIAS system comes into play, you probably won't get in either anyway. So, the other income can be from self-employed. It's still got to be at least 20,966 euros. But you can prove that with 2 years self-employed, your accounts. For 2 years. You've got to prove it. You've got your 20,966 euros. Now I hear you say, well, I've got money. I'm a rich bugger, me. I'll get in. Not necessarily the case. There's nothing written down to say whether or not, if you've got a bank balance, such as like the golden visas, what have you, which they have in various countries. I think they've got them in Portugal and Spain. I think they're getting rid of them, actually. But anyway, the golden visas, you don't necessarily have that in France. There's nothing written down. No. There is an assumption, though, that you need at least 3 times your annual income. Yeah, so argument's sake, around 60,000 a year. But that will be on a case-by-case basis, and also down to interpretation as well. There's no guarantee with that. Your best bet is to have, a secure income. And that secure income has to be proven income. So let's say, for instance, you've got those of, like an employment contract, for instance. That's it. That's very important. And like I say, improve 2 years of being self-employed. Now, okay, you're happy. You got your visa, which is rather quick. It comes within 5 to 20 days, so it's quick. Yeah, not much waiting. It's not like the UK, refugee processing in the UK. No, it's very quick indeed. So okay, you got that. You live your life variety here in France, you're supping on your wine or what have you, and you're surprised how cheap it is and how low the taxation is, because it's pretty much non-existent on French wine. Yeah. And it's bloomin' good, and you get to drink out of a jam jar. That's what you do. Well, that's what our French friends do. So, okay, you got your 12-month visitor visa. Great. You're happy as a sandpiper. You're renting a place for now, because you don't want to commit to buy. So you're renting a place for the time being, and like I say, you're happy. You're experiencing a life here, and it's a good opportunity to, to find out whether or not you actually do want to live in France. You might find it's not for you. There are hurdles, and there are Things that you might think, oh, that's a bit odd, you know. But you get past that. You have to give yourself enough time to understand the differences here in France and the people. And that will change from place to place to place. You know, the Parisians are not the same as those here in the Limousin, for instance. I've got French friends here, little old day up the road there. She still speaks patois, which is like a local dialect. And, you know, there's little inconsistencies, and that just makes things not necessarily difficult, but actually interesting, actually, how people live. So you got that. You've experienced your life in France. You're happy you want to stay. Okay. You're on your 10th month. 2 months before your visa comes to an end. Yeah. Well, at that point, you can think to yourself, at 2 months point, before it expires, I want to apply for I want to stay here. So what you need to do, you need to apply for a thing called the carte de séjour. Now, you'll be able to apply for a carte de séjour, which will last 5 years. Now, I hear you say, I don't want to stay 5 years. I just want to stay another 12 months. No, you can't do that. You can't apply for another 12-month visitor visa. You need to do the next stage. It needs to be the carte de séjour. So, you go through the process of applying for your carte de séjour. Once you made that start, once you started applying on the 10th month, you'll be able to stay, even though you might not have your carte de séjour. Let's bear in mind your healthcare. You must make sure you've got your healthcare. And it will cost you around €90 per family or €40 per person if you're healthy. It can get much more expensive if you've got health issues, pre-diagnosed health issues. Or if you're a smoker, for instance, you know, those risks will, those costs, will increase with the risks. You know, that's what insurance policies are. You know, it's a risk-based system, isn't it? So then you can carry on living in France while you're waiting for your carte de séjour. Now, let's say, for instance, you didn't apply for your carte de séjour within those 2 months of the expiry date of your 12-month visitor visa. You've got to leave. You've got to go. Before the 12 months is up, return to the United Kingdom for argument's sake, or whatever third country it might be. Because these rules don't just apply to the UK, they apply to every third country. So then you've got to return. You can actually apply for your carte de séjour, I think it's 90 days, for a period of time after the expiry date of your 12-month visitor visa. There may be something that can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure it's 90 days. So you can apply for that outside of France. If you decide, hang on, I've done my 12 months, I've gone back to the UK, oh my giddy aunt, why the hell did I come back here for? Oh my god, it's shit. I am going to move to France. You made a decision, I'm definitely going to move to France. You've made that decision within a certain period of time. You can apply for your carte de séjour online from abroad. It's not a problem, you can do that. You know, you've got to fit the usual criteria, it might have very similar to your 12-month visitor visa. So, let's say, for instance, you didn't do that. You didn't apply for the carte de séjour, and you carried on living. Well, then you become an overstayer, and they will find out, they'll chuck you out of the country, and you won't be coming back in. So you'll lose your opportunity to live in France, pretty much forever. Well, there are other caveats as well. Also, other things you've got to think about, such as your car, such as, let's say, for instance, you're going to move here full time, you're not going to rent, you're going to buy. There's some caveats with regard to that, especially if you buy a place with land like we've got here. You know, there are rules, there's, such as your land has to sit on Safa's desk, for instance, give the opportunity for the local farmers to buy that land instead of you, at the price that you're paying for. And more often than not, they don't. They're not interested because it's overpriced. Because you generally are paying more than what the actual agricultural value of that land is. It's usually the case. Anyway, what do you reckon? And do you think this would have been a help if you wanted to move to France? Maybe you've made that move yourself. What was your experience? Maybe you've done the 12-month visa. Okay, if you have come over post-Brexit, that's what you're going to need to do before Brexit. If you're a UK citizen and you hadn't got your French citizenship, you would have to apply for a title to séjour, which is very similar to the carte de séjour. That's what we've got here in France. But that's for 10 years. For which, when your 5-year runs out, if, for instance, you do apply for your carte de séjour, your 5-year carte de séjour, you'll be able to then apply for a 10-year carte de séjour. it's like baby steps. It's like they're testing you. They're just making sure whether or not they want you to stay. And the best thing you can do is obviously apply for your citizenship, which is something that me and my dear wife want to do. But we need to improve our language skills. And being very isolated here, we don't see many people. And the best way to learn the language is actually immerse yourself within the French people. So, for instance, if you go into the fêtes and what have you, and engage. Now, I was it's only for a certain period of time every year. I help charity work regarding the local fête here in Ordre-Seville, the foire, and it's good fun. We make stuff. We make floats and stuff. As in the parade and stuff. I made a Tutankhamun, which was about, oh God, that's huge. That must have been 15 feet tall, something like that. It was about 4 or 5, about 5 metres tall it was. What a great thing. Big hands that rotated on the trailer. So it's all good fun. There's lots to do here. There really is. Especially if you not just engage with the people, but engage with the land. There's a lot to learn here. Stuff that you might not have experienced while you were living in the UK. It's a different way of life, especially rural France. If you can move to Paris or Rouen or Limousin or the Moussaille or any of the cities and what have you, large cities, well then that'll be different. That'll be a different way of life. Maybe that's what you want. It's not for me, no, but maybe it's what you want. I like the casual lifestyle. Now we'll be making a series of these videos. I'm going to do some about buying homes and about buying a car, driving here in France, because there's caveats with that, even regarding the 12-month visitor visa. And I'll put them in the description of this video once I make them. So it will be a series. Anyway, tell me what your experiences are, because I do actually read the comments, but you probably already know, and I do appreciate them as well, because it's good to learn. I learn all the time, all the time. I'm not going to try to say I'm a blooming know-it-all. I just love to absorb knowledge, other people's thoughts. Because I don't always get it right in many ways. I'm right on this one, I'll tell you. And I'll leave a link, actually, in the description to a site for which you can then, you can make your own mind up then. It's all in there, as it is. Anyway, it's time for me to go, so I'm going to say ta-ta, so ta-ta, and have a lovely day. Ta-ta.